Welcome back to another episode of Inside of Her C-Suite. I'm Timothy Maurice, and today we have a luxurious episode where we're going to go inside of the C-Suite of Swati Dlamini. She's launched the brand Swati, looking to influence the luxury space. Let's chat. Hi, Swati.
Hi, Tim.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so excited about the brand for a number of reasons. First of all, I love luxurious things, but I also know that we need more leading voices in the luxury space. What inspired the luxury brand?
Well, I mean, this goes back for me about 20 years ago when I wanted to have my own shoe line. Having not been to design school, it actually just kind of fell to the wayside. But over the years, I always felt compelled to be in the fashion space. So I worked for one of the leading sort of fashion companies in the country, Busby. I spent 4 years there merchandising, just so I could be in the fashion space because I really, really enjoyed the fashion space. And thereafter, I did a short course at Lysov just to kind of, get an idea of like the designing behind, fashion. And so I did that for a while. And then I was fortunate enough to be introduced to the Roi Kaskara brand, and we came together to collaborate to create Swati by Roi Kaskara. They were in the luxury space, so for me it just felt like a perfect fit in order for me to actually create something new, something that was my own, with people who are seasoned professionals who know the space, who've been doing it for a very long time. So that gave me the trust and the ability to actually say, I can do this because I have these guys who've been doing it for so long, and I felt like the two was an amazing, amazing, amazing match.
And so the way you guys work, you sit down, you collaborate, you look at influences or global influences of fabric, and so it's really a collaboration.
It absolutely is. I mean, initially they asked me, what is it that inspires you? What are the things that you love? What types of fashion do you like? What types of things? And it kind of really started from there. I said, this is one of my favorite fabrics. Like you can find me in a hound's tooth like most of the time because it's a fabric that I really, really love. So they wanted to make sure that they created something that spoke to who I was, that represented me, but at the same time they brought in their expertise in terms of sourcing the fabrics and the crafting and the merchandising and the making of the fabrics. They have a factory which is based here in Sandton, in which they make the garments here. So we import the fabrics, but we design everything here locally. And that's the other thing that really got my attention and really inspired me, was the fact that it's going to be locally produced and locally made. And I feel like it's actually just giving back to the economy and also empowering the young designers in this country to also put their name on something that is of luxury, which is a space that is quite niched and very difficult to break and to get into. But I was so pleased that at least I met Roi Kaskara and we were able to collaborate.
Let's talk about your specific background and upbringing. Having sort of Eastern Cape it's just thinking about it now. You actually have Xhosa heritage.
I mean,
right?
I have Swazi heritage, and I have Xhosa heritage.
And both of them are rich in aesthetics and patterns. You ever thought about how those sort of backgrounds influence you and how you see fashion?
Well, absolutely. I mean, one of our garments actually specifically is taken off the inspiration of the Xhosa wrap and how the Xhosas like to wrap themselves in very big cloths. So we decided, let's actually take some, fabric from overseas and put like a bit of a different flair to the Xhosa tradition and how they dress. So absolutely, I mean, my grandparents inspired me in terms of the way that they dress. And I think also the other important thing is that you can make a statement through fashion. My grandmother made many political statements through fashion, and so did my grandfather. So for me, it was really nice to take a little bit from their history and what they've done and what they've been able to do in their own personal lives and really bring it into this luxury space.
But even your grandfather on your father's side,
even on the Swazi side,
was
yes,
really big into royal attire. He was very dignified.
Yes.
So this sort of thing of being dignified, maybe in your DNA. So do you ever feel the pressure of delivering something that does live up to this DNA dynamic?
I mean, I think one thing that my parents and my grandparents have done well was to say that we should carve our own mark in society and in the world. But certainly I've taken so many things that I've learned from them. And yes, like you said, the fact that they carried themselves with dignity, the fact that the royal headdress is this beautiful, majestic sort of royal attire that we put on. And when they do put on, you really kind of feel differently, you kind of walk differently. So I absolutely take inspiration from them. I'm honored and I'm privileged to say that this is my heritage, and I'm bringing it into the luxury space and into fashion, which I love so much. And for me, if I look at half the things that they've worn over the time, it's very fashion forward. It's very beautiful. The fabrics are amazing, and even the way they put things together, I was always inspired by that.
And this is one of your pieces here?
This is absolutely one of my pieces.
Can I touch it?
You may. Can I do a bit of a twirl for you?
Yeah, can you twirl it? Let's go inside and see a few.
Please do.
I don't feel like things happen by coincidence, you know. This is a very sort of, I think for the whole country, for the whole nation, this space, being Mandela Square, is a significant sort of landmark. How do you feel about launching your first sort of luxury venture? Obviously this will go around the world, but how does it feel to launch it here?
Well, I mean, interesting fact was that I was actually involved in the name change of Sandton Square to Nelson Mandela Square. So I was here when they did the big reveal, and I was part of the branding. I worked on that project. So for me to get now some sort of 10 years later to actually have my own brand in Mandela Square is really just very special to me. And also I just feel like I hope that I'm doing my grandfather proud. I hope that, if he was here, he'd look at it, what I've been able to create, and, have pride in it and be happy that I've taken something and I've really turned it into something, quite elegant and beautiful. And, please God with everything going well, that it really does fly. And this is like the first step in me possibly, building my own empire.
And something that the world can learn from, right? Something that the world could wear and appreciate and start to investigate parts of Xhosa heritage and parts of African heritage. So we're here, you've got one of your partners here. You can introduce us?
So this is Nadia. Hi Nadia, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Nadia, how are you? Thank you so much.
Good to meet you, Tim.
Awesome. Nadia, your background in luxury is really, really inspiring. I mean, you can look at the space and the level of quality. You could have partnered with anybody. Why Swati?
Like you said, that nothing happens without reason. We were introduced by a third party, and day one when she walked in, we hit it off. We shared a common vision with clothing, with fashion. I personally never ever did a women's range. She walked in, I saw a style, a elegance. I was like, this is going to be my partner.
Simple as that.
As simple as that.
Simple as that. And your focus on luxury, what role do you think luxury has to play sort of in an emerging market? I mean, I've got a friend of mine who launched a luxury tea brand, and being able to sort of shift the narrative in Africa from being seen as poverty to ability to create luxury. How do you feel about your role in this?
I think it's important. It's something that I aspire to. It's something I want to grow and create brands, or a brand that people want to aspire to. It's the same individual who grew up in an impoverished neighborhood. He needs to look at something, a realistic goal, not the Hollywood movies or the Milans or the Italys or the Londons. He wants to look at a South African icon that he says, she came from the background, he came from the background where I find myself in. It is achievable, it's a realistic goal, it's not just a big dream. If I work hard enough, I can achieve. And that, I believe, in our country, in our nation, in our continent, is important.
You know what I love is that you guys have vastly different backgrounds, but you sit on the same wavelength when it comes to find things and what it can do to make people feel better. Is this one of yours? One of your pieces?
This is all ours.
Wow,
I think
that's awesome.
I think it would be improper not to wear our own brand all the time in our own store.
Well, that's a lot of pressure. Like every day you wear your own attire.
Yes, without a doubt. And at the end, I've got my own style, my own sense of fashion. I can't find it in any of the high fashion retailers. And that's why I got into this business. Create your own. It's my signature. I'm happy that other people share in the significance of it and the importance of it and what it means to them. Our name, Roi Kaskara, many people ask, what is Roi Kaskara? Who is Roi Kaskara? It's actually two words. It's Roi for king in French, and Kaskara, an African sword, the king's sword. It's a businessman's modern day armor. When you walk into a boardroom and you're well attired, people are going to listen to you. Likewise with an empowered woman, or any woman for that sake.
Kings, queens, princesses, this is an authentic fit, and I think any collaboration has to be based on raw levels of foundational authenticity. Right. Nadia, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's such an honor.
Pleasure.
Let's take a look at some of the clothes. Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. This is one of my favorite pieces. It jumped out immediately. Tell us a little bit more.
So this was inspired by my Xhosa heritage and my Xhosa background. If you look at the fabric, it's a modern take on it though. So it's a French Parisian fabric in which what we wanted to do was create a bit of a different spin on it. So on the lining of it, you've got this beautiful sort of like juxtaposition and like sort of different fabrics to kind of make it pop. And I think the thing that really makes this a very outstanding piece is that it's really for that woman who's kind of very bold, she's very courageous, she's very strong. I mean, if she walks into a room, you'll notice her and you'll see her. And so we wanted to create something that really kind of ties in my African heritage, and also just like, you know, when you walk into a room, you kind of like notice this woman, you notice her, you see her from a mile away. And also just the fabric just being closer inspired, I think, was something that we were really excited about.
What I love, even of this piece, they both feel global. Like you could put this on anywhere in the world and still be relevant and strong and confident. Do you see this as a global brand moving forward?
I absolutely see this as a global brand. I mean, I think initially what we had in mind was this is not just a South African brand, this is an international brand with a global focus. And I think that any woman across the world can say, you know, I can look at one piece and this makes me feel a certain way. And also just the fabrics are just so stunning and so beautiful, and just the way the designs are made. And also just, you know, I love a bow, and just to make it kind of pop, just to make an outfit pop. And the one thing that we wanted to do was to make sure that like each garment is an outfit on its own. You can wear this garment and it is the outfit. You can be dressed in jeans and pop this cape on and pop this poncho on, and it really kind of becomes the statement piece. So
the range is built around, so you've got these ponchos and you have these bags. Let's look at this bag. Oh my word.
So this is all leather, 100% leather. And I mean, it's a unique design, it's a new design, it's a Swati design. You will not find this design anywhere else other than in our range. So it is authentic, it is new, it is different. And, you know, I mean, I remarked, I said, you know, I want to be able to, you know, dump everything that I can. I think every woman likes to make sure that they have a bag in which is like multi-purpose and functional. So, I mean, you can put all kinds of stuff in there, and it's really just like beautifully made. And, you know, you kind of walk around with this bag, and it's quite light too, because sometimes you find that the handbag on its own is quite heavy, but this handbag is not. On its own, it's actually a very light handbag, so you can put all kinds of stuff in there as a leading woman in your field.
So give us a muse. Who is a famous actress? Is there anyone you can imagine? Halle Berry, anyone, you know, anyone globally, Charlize Theron, who you could imagine wearing this?
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Yes.
Wow.
If I could have the opportunity one day to dress Michelle Obama.
Swati, thank you for joining us on Inside Our C-Suite. I'm so proud of you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's Swati Dlamini here in Mandela Square. What an inspiring story of a young woman who is committed to a vision that's inspired by her grandparents and her own culture and her country. We'll be back next week with another episode of Inside of Our C-Suite.